You're watching the 2024 SCAC Tennis Media Days. Today, we're taking a look at the Colorado College Tigers men's and women's tennis programs. Again, the Tigers will be led as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Anthony Weber, along with leadership from seniors Andrew Kaelin and Elizabeth Girian. And Coach Andrew, Elizabeth, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, we'll open things up with you coming into a new season. I'm always interested in the perspective from the head coach, the excitement as we start anew. These programs coming off some really successful runs the last couple of years. As I mentioned before we came on, back-to-back third place finishes for both programs. So as you come into this new season, what are you looking forward to the most, and how excited are you just to be back with your athletes and getting ready to start this run here to the end of April?
I'd say, yeah, had some great finishes these past few years. Return a lot of players from these past 2 years, add some crazy good freshmen into the mix on both men's and women's sides. So excited to kind of see how, they compete kind of going throughout the year. We had a big trip to the Pacific Northwest a few weeks ago, got, at least a preview of what that's going to look like down the road. And then we go into a gauntlet of a schedule with a couple of home matches this weekend and then off to California and 2 Texas trips in April. So just very excited to see how everybody kind of competes throughout the year.
Andrew, coming into your senior season, you're part of a pretty special senior group. I know, in talking before, these are guys that you had even known before stepping onto campus, people from your neck of the woods out in Washington, up in the Pacific Northwest. And so having gone through that all together and thinking kind of back through those times, now here at your senior season and in this spring semester, I'm just interested in your mindset. How excited are you? And is there a sense of urgency maybe a little bit from you coming into this start of this year?
Yeah, definitely. It's really nice having that connection before coming into college. It was an instant click with the group of seniors now that came from the Pacific Northwest. And I think, yeah, there's definitely some urgency. It's kind of one big final push for a lot of us seniors. This is debatably the best team we've had, and we can pull off some pretty big upsets. We know we have the ability to. So, yeah, just one last hurrah, trying to push through and have the best season we can.
Elizabeth, coming into your senior season, you've had success throughout your career, going back your first season, making all SCAC in doubles, and then, even last season, all SCAC on the tournament team in singles. When you're playing at your best, where are you most comfortable out on the court? And is there a part of your game that when it's really clicking, it definitely adds to your confidence in a match?
Yeah, I try a lot to just hit the spots that I'm comfortable with. I rely a lot on my first serve to go in to kind of set me up for points. And I definitely like to go for my forehand when I'm in the right spot. And yeah, when I am able to gain that confidence, I really try hard to be aggressive. So yeah.
Coach, you talk about welcoming in a group of talented first years, a big freshman class on both the men's and the women's side. I think 11 in total, 5 on the women's side, 6 on the men, if I'm correct. When you bring in this type of a class, I'm interested in the energy that it brings to your program, but also as a head coach, what are some things that you really focus on, try to get them to kind of understand about your program as they make that big transition and jump from high school into college?
Definitely very excited with this group, hardworking group of kids overall. They play intramurals all together. We've had flag football teams that were all freshmen, and they're a little embarrassing out there, but good to see them bonding on their own as well. That time management piece, a lot of the kids come out of, the junior ranks, and yeah, they're in high school. They go out and they're practicing a couple hours a day. It's just vastly different once you get into college and trying to make sure that they're accountable to their teammates and to us as a program right off the get-go. We do host some events in the fall that kind of help us with some of those things. We hosted a big tournament with some D2 schools. We had a couple dual matches about an hour south of Colorado Springs. We try to take everybody to those events. So even though we had larger teams this year, even if they weren't competing, they were going and supporting teammates, and they kind of get an idea what that culture looks like.
Andrew, as you've grown into the player that you are throughout your career, are there some, professionals that you watch, some tennis players that always caught your eye, people that you looked up to that you've, taken from their game and tried to implement and help you grow as a player in your own right, throughout your career?
Yeah, definitely one big one would be Yannick Sinner, especially now, even though we're very similar in age. He's very calm, composed, and hits a big ball. So I kind of try and implement my game to be similar to him, just trying to keep a level head.
Elizabeth, as I mentioned now in your senior season, as you've kind of grown into your role there at CC and been a part of this team now for the last couple of years, what have you grown to love most about representing CC, being a tennis student athlete on that campus? And then, as a senior, how do you try and instill those emotions past that kind of culture that you've grown into to some of the younger student athletes on this team as one of the leaders within your group?
Yeah, the tennis team has kind of acted as like a large part of my family here at CC. So I'm trying to kind of instill that cohesiveness and closeness with the new freshmen as well as the rest of the team. It's been like amazing to grow with the team throughout the 4 years that I have here, and I'm super excited for them because there's a lot of milestones that I'm more than confident that this new group can hit, especially after I leave. So it's going to be really exciting to watch them even after my time at CC kind of comes to an end.
Coach, you talked a little bit about kind of getting your first years implemented within the culture of your group. And, tennis is so unique in our space with, the individual talents that we have in tennis kind of at its nature, almost being an individual sport, but coming together in a kind of a bigger stage at the college level in that team dynamic. How do you kind of balance that as a coach, understanding that, players are different and styles are different, but at the end, it does come together in that team dynamic. And where do you kind of find that balance, within your program?
Yeah, and I do think like having these two side by side here by me, they've really helped with some of that stuff. You kind of come out of USTA as like a lone wolf, and then you come in, I would say that's like the sauna, and then you come into college tennis and it's like hopping into the hot tub. Like it's still hot, but it's enjoyable. And, I think about we played Seward County Community College a few weeks ago here at Garden of the Gods Club indoors. It's kind of it's a nice space, but it's a tin roof, and it was loud and obnoxious in there. The women came watch the men stayed watch the women. So I'd say like that atmosphere, once you see that in college tennis, it's the hook. It's the reason why these guys are playing into their 4th year. It's the reason why I keep staying here into my 13th year here at the colleges. Those kind of experiences, like that's what draws you out to practice when it's a colder day or a windier day or whatever, is knowing that you have some of those experiences to look forward to.
Finally, as we wrap up with our student athletes, Andrew and Elizabeth, as you've had conversations with some of your other leaders on your team and some of the other teammates about some of the goals and expectations coming into these seasons, what have those conversations looked like, and ultimately what's going to be key in trying to accomplishing those heading into the year?
Yeah, we've definitely set some goals. We've sat down as a team and we've all gotten together and figured out what we want. We just want to like leave it all out there. We don't want to have any reservations at the end of the season. We want to be able to say like we put in our best effort, like day in, day out, and whatever happens, happens. But we are really pushing to win conference. This is a possible year where we can hopefully get over that hump and compete, because we've competed in the past with these top teams, especially Trinity and Southwestern. But our goal is really just like to try and see what we can do with those teams, and yeah, hopefully just push it a little harder and break through. That's the goal.
Yeah, to echo Andrew, I think we're really confident, especially with the first year talent that we have. We are in a very good position to take care of the matches that we are favored in, and then also we're definitely going to be putting our best foot forward for like the coin flip ones. We definitely want to see the women's team be able to maybe break the national ranking, so that's definitely a top goal for us.
And finally, Coach, as we wrap up with you, success in our world obviously can be measured in a bunch of different ways. And, I'm just interested, when you talk about success with your two programs, how do you try and, frame that conversation? And, ultimately 2024 looks successful for these two programs if what plays out over the next couple of months?
Well, I would say like we definitely frame some of the goals for the program are obviously like at a school like Colorado College, it's the academic goals are probably some of the biggest. Like last year we had team GPAs that were among the highest at CC in athletics, some of the highest that we've ever had, close to a 3.7, 3.8, something like that between both programs. Obviously, like this is just, it's a piece of the pie for their academic experience, and that's really like the overarching goal of the program, is just to be an extension of what they're experiencing here at Colorado College. And obviously they take some valuable lessons out of this that you can't get in the classroom, that you can only get on the court or at a job and things like that. So we definitely emphasize those things. Academics comes first. It's the priority for these students, and it's a priority for me as well. So I would say that's been something I've been very proud of, ever since I've been at CC. Beyond that, obviously, like framing, we talk about, getting enough hours of sleep and your nutrition and the guys team not trying to eat pizza every night and things like that. So, we frame success in a lot of different ways. And then we try to see like, all right, if we take care of those things, what does it look like on court down the road? And like, AK said, conference championship, like Elizabeth said, national rankings, those are all kind of the end product of those smaller goals that we're trying to hit along the way.
Colorado College men's and women's tennis program. Again, the Tigers will be led as they head into the season. I've got head coach Anthony Weber, along with leadership from seniors Andrew Kaelin, along with Elizabeth Girian. Coach Andrew, Elizabeth, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you march forward throughout the rest of the year.
Thanks. Appreciate it.